Hello, my soccer universe, to a rather remarkable weekend in Europe, and I think the biggest storylines are, of course, the refereeing controversies surrounding the Madrid teams who literally and figuratively saw red. So the La Liga section is this time a teeny bit longer because I wanted to mention something there as well. But it was a really fun weekend as well. Flurry of goals in France. We had Liga Portugal getting tight again when we thought it's all swinging in Sporting's favor. No, we had Ajax distancing themselves from PSV with a game in hand. Is Faroli really pulling off a huge surprise there as well? Bundesliga title is more or less decided, although Bayern barely crossed the halfway line. They still have a cushion over Bayer Leverkusen, winning 0-0 if you would like. And we also had a remarkable Premier League week in this case, where Everton was the big story. First, an emotional last Merseyside derby at Goodison, but also a good win on the upcoming weekend. But on top, it remains the city rivals who are in control of the league. And we'll start with the emotions at Goodison. The last ever Merseyside derby at Goodison Park provided an emotional climax for Everton fans, with Tarkowski equalising deep in stoppage time to grab points from their kinda hated rivals Liverpool. The game actually started well for Everton, where there was a free kick in midfield that Brentwaite played onto Beto that completely surprised especially Konaté but also the rest of the Liverpool defence, and he's lost it home for the 1-0. However, just 3 minutes later, Mohamed Salah, with one of his few actions in the game, gets a cross in that McAllister heads in for the equaliser. Of course, Liverpool had then a little bit more of the game, but this game was very open, very much old school British football. You know, a lot of energy, a lot of tackles, everything that you would expect from an English game, but maybe not a lot of technical finesse. Maybe technical finesse came in the 73rd minute when Salah gets the go-ahead goal, which is one of those underrated shots that he takes, and you thought that Liverpool will get the 3 points and extend the lead over Arsenal to 9 points. However, then Tarkowski hit in stoppage time. Still, it was a 7-point lead for Liverpool. For all the good that Chelsea have shown in 2024, they lose now a second time in a row to Brighton, first in the FA Cup, and now completely outplayed in the league as well. It's a 3-0 win where they really didn't have a chance. Mitoma with a beautiful goal, and Minte already in the first half opened up a 2-0 lead that Minte them himself extends to 3. One-way traffic. After Havertz's season-ending injury, very much depleted Arsenal go to Leicester, and maybe in the first half were lucky to not be down. Leicester actually showed a little bit, but then they hung back in the game, and it's Merino who comes on, is in the number 9 position, who scores a brace to give Arsenal the important 3 points and keep a little bit of pressure on Liverpool. Aston Villa also have a hard time living up to the promise from last season. They only managed a 1-1 at home to Ipswich. A 10-man Ipswich who, with a man down, took the lead through the lap, and Ollie Watkins only managed an equaliser. Forest are also bouncing up and down after destroying Brighton 7-0, and Brighton coming back from that one. They now go to Fulham and are completely outplayed. Still manage a 1-1 at the half, with Chris Woods scoring from one of the few chances. But this was all about Fulham being their sometimes irresistible selves. Smith Rowe gave them the lead, and then Bass in the 62nd gets the winning goal. Probably could have been even more. We also saw some green shoots from City after losing in rather disappointing fashion to Real Madrid in the midweek. It is now Omar Marmoush, newly signed from Frankfurt, who gets a first half hat-trick, and it's not Erling Haaland that we're talking about. First goal came after a kick-out from Ederson, where Marmoush just outfoxes everyone on the Newcastle defense, and Newcastle really didn't show up in that game. Then Gündoğan assisting for the second one just 5 minutes later, and in the 33rd minute, so within 15 minutes, he had scored the 3 goals. He completes his hat-trick, and then McAtee in the 84th adds a 4th one. And that result, of course, puts City in a good position to grab top 4, while even top 5 might be enough this year. Bournemouth also keep up their chase for a European spot, winning 3-1 at last place Southampton. Another trouble team that hardly anyone is talking about is West Ham, who are now in 16th with only 27 points, but everyone is focusing, of course, on the 2 other trouble teams, Spurs and, of course, United. They lose 1-0 at home thanks to Kevin Schade goal already in the 4th minute in a very horrible jersey matchup as well. Then in the Saturday evening game, Everton take their good spirit from the draw against Liverpool and go to Crystal Palace to win 2-1. Beto again opens the scoring. Mateta equalizes right after the half for Oliver Glasner's side. However, Alcaraz in the 80th minute give the win to the Toffees. The city rivals Liverpool, though, had a rather comfortable 2-0 halftime lead. Luis Diaz first opening the scoring and then being brought down in the box that Salah converts to make it 2-0, and everyone thought Liverpool are cruising. However, Wolves came back into the game. Mateusz Cunha cuts the lead in half and then it was hanging on. Van Dijk captained the defense expertly so Liverpool could see home those nervy 3 points. And then in the crisis derby, Spurs get a rare win. James Maddison tapping it home in the 13th minute already, and then answering to his critics. United probably had more chances, especially Garnacho missed one, if not two, really good chances, but Spurs more or less controlled the game as well. So despite the missed chances, I would even argue that Spurs deserved that win, and United find themselves now in an incredible 15th spot, even behind Everton, who everyone thought ahead of the season they might be in trouble for relegation. In the Eredivisie, the good performances of the Dutch teams in the Europa League continue into the league as well, whereas PSV are very much concentrating on Champions League. Only managed a 2-2 at home to Utrecht and needed a 92nd minute equalizer through Baba D. All that despite Obispo opening the scoring for PSV. However, just 5 minutes later, Van der Hoorn actually equalized for Utrecht, who then had the lead through Aronson in the 75th minute. PSV really falling big at the moment. The other Champions League team, Feyenoord, also did not perform very well. 0-0 away to NAC Breda in a game that actually had almost 4 expected goals. However, no goals scored. A goal for Peixão was actually disallowed for an offside. Therefore, Twente go within a point of Feyenoord, beating Waalwijk 2-0 at home. And Ajax open now a 2-point lead with a game less over PSV with a 4-0 destruction of Heracles. Hoods already opening and scoring the 17th minute, Brobbey doubling it just before the half, and then Edwards and Klaassen add 2 more in the second half. I cannot believe to say it, but this Ajax side that was so unfancy in half the season might as well end up Dutch Eredivisie champions. The Bundesliga weekend was all about the big clash between Leverkusen and Bayern Munich. The last chance for Leverkusen. However, they cannot get a win, and so Bayern more or less wins 0-0 because they have sewn up the Bundesliga with this one more or less 8 points cushion with 12 rounds to go. You don't see Leverkusen making up that one. However, Bayern had a really poor performance, very much hanging back, last gasp defending, barely crossing the midway line. I think the expected goals were 0.04. Have you ever heard that before? Leverkusen created plenty of chances. However, we also have to ask why Xabi Alonso not playing a striker like Patrick Schick, for instance, who was in really good form as well. But maybe this played better into his plan of breaking down Bayern, which they never managed. And the biggest miss, of course, came late on when there was a double chance. I think it was Schick that was saved, and then the ball falls to Florian Wirtz, who from point blank range just puts it wide. Wirtz, best player on the pitch, however the tragic hero as well. Friday evening saw another point claimed for Augsburg. Again, they are not getting relegated because they always pick up points against Leipzig. However, it was a goalless draw. Meanwhile, the good second half performance in Lisbon did not inspire Dortmund at all. The whole country is laughing about them as they lose 2-0 to Bochum, a Bochum team that now move into the relegation spot. Masura scoring both goals, the second one of course largely assisted by Niklas Süle. Dortmund really the joke of the nation and a team that you wouldn't recognize anymore from the great Dortmund sides from the past. Freiburg get a massive 1-0 away win at St. Pauli. Grifo missed the penalty in the first half, and then it's an 89th minute Troy own goal that gives them the win. Wolfsburg, meanwhile, keep themselves in contention for at least a European place, if not even Champions League, with a 2-1 comeback win at Stuttgart. And the comeback came late because in the 72nd minute, Stuttgart took a 1-0 lead. However, Tomasz and Amura with a penalty in the 77th and 87th minute turn it around for Ralf Hasenhüttl's men. Gladbach also could cut their deficit to Stuttgart thanks to that. It's a 2-1 away win at Union Berlin. Ulrich and Klein is already in the first half established establishing a 2-0 lead. Ilic with a penalty pulls one back. However, there's no equalizer. Maybe because Marin Ljubicic came on too late. On Sunday, Hoffenheim coach Chris Ilzer breathed a big sigh of relief, winning 3-1 at a good Bremen side. They were 1-0 down through an own goal when Soke, however, Stach, Bischof and then Orban turned it around. 3 important points for Hoffenheim. Frankfurt also solidified a Champions League spot, winning 3-1, even missing a penalty in the process by Ekitike that would have made it 3-0 at the halftime. Larsson, Tuton, Özün scoring the 3 goals. Porat very late pulls one back. And thanks to 2-0 home loss to Mainz, Burkhardt and Viper scoring, Heidenheim now fall into the relegation spots because Bochum got the 3 points against Dortmund. With quite a remarkable Ligue 1 weekend with a flurry of goals, but also 6 away wins, 5 of them already on Sunday, and then PSG adding one on Saturday as well. Would have had a 7th away win if it wasn't for Ajorc, who gets an equalizer in the 79th minute for Brest to salvage a 2-2 draw against Auxerre. Meanwhile, Marseille confirmed their second place with a resounding 5-1 win over Saint-Etienne. It was 1-0 at the half through Guillory. Goal was already disallowed. And then it's Greenwood, Murillo, Guillory and Rabiot who add 4 more in the second half before Stassin can pull one back. Monaco get even a bigger win. Finally they score goals, but it could have gone so different because Ablin already in the 4th minute gave Nantes the lead. However, then Gotza is sent off in the 8th minute and took them some while. But just before the half, Birez and Minamino, 2 former Austrian Bundesliga players, turned the game around. Birez actually scoring then a hat-trick, adding 2 more in the second half. Benzegir also gets in on the action and Ileni Hena late on adds 2 more. And then the final Champions League team, PSG, saves a lot of starters. They already have a 3-0 lead going into their return against Brest, and so it is a rather lackluster performance that Fabian Ruiz finds the winner in Toulouse. And yes, Bacola also missed a couple of chances in there. And the former Milan coach Fonseca, Lyon also get a little bit of a resurgence, winning 4-1 at admittedly last place. Montpellier, who did have a good run not too long ago. Mikodate, Nuama, Tolisso and Lacazette getting on the score sheet. Remarkably, only PSG have gotten more points in France this year than Strasbourg. Strasbourg get another huge win, 2-0 away win at Lens. They not only overtake Lens but also overtake Brest in the process and might be pushing for a European spot with a very, very young squad. The winning goals though came relatively late through Bakwa and another former Austrian Bundesliga striker, Emega. Nice also remaining in 3rd spot thanks to a 3-1 away win at Le Havre. And Lille also keep themselves in contention for a potential Champions League space. Remember, they're the only French team who are already in the round of 16 of the Champions League, winning 2-0 away at Rennes. The feel-good moment, of course, came when Bentaleb, who had just suffered a cardiac arrest not too long ago in the 80th minute, scored the go-ahead goal. And then Akpom adds a second one after he had already missed a penalty. Once again, all the talk in La Liga is about refereeing decisions, and this time around, both Madrid teams, but especially Real Madrid, so literally and figuratively red. Well, let's start with Real Madrid's game at Osasuna, a game that Real Madrid started really well, created plenty of chances, Vini actually missing quite a few, and they took the lead in the 15th minute to Kylian Mbappe at a time where they probably could have led already by 1 or 2. However, the game then more or less turned. Not only did Real Madrid start to concede chances, but Jude Bellingham got sent off because he used the F word in whatever context whatsoever, and Spanish referees wanted to take action against that. Of course, after the game, everyone tried to argue it was not as bad. Honestly, the difference between the two phrases that were discussed, not that big, but yeah, he was sent off. And Real Madrid are now down to 10 men, and then they needed actually some really good saves as well. I mean, there was a great one by Courtois where he takes the save on the bottom of the corner, then it flies over the crossbar. Really great one. And then they give away a penalty, and the penalty also was slightly contentious. And former last player Ante Budimir slots it home. It's a 1-1. What a mad game, and the inquest on refereeing decisions surely didn't end there. And so Atletico Madrid had the chance with a win over Celta to go past Real Madrid jumped into first place. However, after 7 minutes, they're already down to 10 men. Barrios being sent off for a rather rash tackle. And then it was a hard work for them. And it got even worse when they give away a penalty to Iago Aspas in the 68th minute, converts to makes it 1-0 for Celta. However, Sorlos salvages at least a point, and so the distance to Real Madrid maintains a single point. But Real Madrid sit only in second place now, and that is thanks to Barcelona winning at home against Rayo Vallecano, therefore drawing level on points with Real Madrid and overtaking them thanks to goal difference and head-to-head, and head-to-head is the decider for now. Second head-to-head coming relatively soon as well. And if you saw that game, yes, that clearly didn't fuel the flames that refereeing is against Madrid. The go-ahead goal for Barcelona, who were largely the dominating team, was a penalty call where that was off the ball, but it was clear holding back from Cis, and the penalty is duly converted by Lewandowski via the inside of the post. And up until that point, I would say the lead was fully deserved. However, Rayo did have a couple of good chances and even scored a goal through Jorge de Frutos. Problem is that Ndeka was in offside position and blocked a Barca defender from getting towards the Frutos. Whether he would have gotten there, probably not. To me, it looked for the longest time like a good goal. Yeah, when I hear the interpretation afterwards, okay, but it was not a great one. And then also, Kubarsi makes a similar foul, but gets his hand sooner off than Cis did. And so, yeah, I'm sure the voices calling foul on Spanish refereeing were not smaller. Although, in the end, every decision, I think, is defensible, and I'm absolutely certain there's no collusion against the Real Madrid, who only stoke the flames themselves. Looking at the other games, Getafe on a really good run, getting a 2-1 away win at Girona. Meanwhile, the early kickoff on Saturday saw a wild 3-3 draw between Leganés and Alaves. 2-1 lead for Leganés thanks to rubber penalties in the first half. Leganés turn it around, Joan Jordan scoring a brace there. Then a Gonzalez goal is disallowed for offside, but in the 89th minute, Munir El Haddadi scores the equalizer. Saturday evening saw Valencia grab another point in a 1-1 draw at high-flying Villarreal. Sadiq getting the equalizer in the 84th minute. The chances of survival are tangible at this moment. Another 1-1 draw between Espanyol and Athletic Club with Sunset equalizing 77th minute. However, the game overshadowed by a potential racist incident against Nico Williams. Sevilla on the other side get a huge 4-0 away win at Valladolid. Valladolid is a team that is already booked for relegation. Juan Luis Sanchez scoring a brace in the process. Vedat Murici was the hero for Mallorca in a duel of the island teams, scoring 2 first half goals, and the third one by Rodriguez sees them already going on for the win. Stefan Bajcetic, who you know from Liverpool, pulled one back for Las Palmas in the second half. And also the other Seville team got a win. Betis beat Real Sociedad 3-0 at home. Zubeldia already was sent off in the 20th minute. For La Sociedad, Lo Celso missed a penalty before the half, but it is then Anthony, yes, that Anthony, who scored a really pretty goal to make it 1-0 and was more or less the star of the show. He assisted also Roca on the third. Roca scored a goal in between as well. And then for good measure, Geraldo Becker was also sent off for La Sociedad. Liga Portugal remains the proverbial box of chocolates. You thought that Sporting is cleared and the draw at Porto, and now they got under pressure since Benfica won the top matchup between Santa Clara and Benfica 1-0 thanks to a Bruma goal in the 55th minute. That put some pressure on Sporting, who then only managed another draw, a 2-2 at home to Arouca, where they find themselves twice down. First, a Rafa Silva own goal in the 8th minute that is equalized by Harder, and then a penalty just before halftime put Arouca ahead again. It gets even harder because Hjulman is sent off for a second red card. Trincao in the 74th minute gets the equalizer. However, there is no winner for Sporting, and so the lead is down now to 2 points. And while Porto is hanging a little bit back, they remain also in the conversation thanks to a 1-0 away win at Farense through a Moura goal in the 48th minute. If any of the Lisbon teams are slipping up, I think this Porto team is ready to pounce. And then, I guess the biggest B-derby in Portugal between Vitória and Braga. Local rivalry, as of late, the number 4 and number 5 teams in the country only ends in a 0-0 draw. Well, that concludes my look back at what was the last weekend in European soccer. For me, it is really hard to not troll Real Madrid for their absolute asinine behavior regarding referees. Shows you, if you have a little bit of class, this doesn't really happen to you, but you open yourself up to it because you want to have viewers on your TV channel, but I leave it at that now. In any case, please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts on the past weekend in the comments below. I'll talk to you soon about more things in my soccer universe. Bye! Hey there! I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, here are some videos and playlists that you may enjoy too. Also, please consider subscribing to my channel and hit the little bell icon so you get notified whenever something happens in my soccer universe. And with that, have a wonderful day. Bye!